Ritesh here, and this is the second video of the naive Bayes algorithm series. Till now, what we have seen was probability of y equals to 1 given x. We saw that this was probability of x given y equals to 1 into probability of y equals to 1 and divided by probability of x. Until now, we have seen that we just calculated this particular thing, and this was so probability of x given y equals to 1 was calculated as probability of y equals to 1 multiplied by multiplication of all the terms from 1 till n, and this was probability of xi given y equals to 1. And what was xi? Xi belongs to x, and what is x? X is a vector of x1 till xn. It is simple. Till now we have seen that. In my previous video, I just mentioned you that we are not calculating this particular term and we are ignoring this term. So let me tell you why we are ignoring this term is because see, this is probability of y equals to 1 given x. Suppose the probability that our model gave for y equals to 1 was 0.6 and for y equals to 0 it was 0.4. Then we can simply say that probability of y equals to 1 given x is equals to 1 minus probability of y equals to 0 given x. And if anyone is greater than 0.5, or then we can simply say that this particular class belongs to 1 or 0. For suppose for y equals to 1, if it is greater than for y equals to 0, then we don't need to calculate for y equals to 0. We can simply say this is 1. This was for the explanation part. Now, which means that we just have to compare the probabilities and we don't have to find the absolute values. For example, suppose for y equals to 0 and given x, we will also have the same equation here. No, see, this is x given y equals to 0, and this is probability of y equals to 0, and this is probability of x. Now just see that suppose if you want to compare this particular term with this particular term, this is same in both these things. This we can easily get from the training set just by counting the number of points. So the only thing that varies is this particular term. This particular term. Hence, we just have to calculate this particular term because the rest are constant. That's why we are ignoring the denominator term, because this is not having any impact on the final value that we are getting. Hence, we will only use this particular term, or we will only use our training set to approximate this particular thing. Okay, I think I have made my points very clear and this must be clear to you. Now, I will explain you how we use our algorithm to come up with an approximation of this particular term. So now let's move forward. Okay. See, I will take an example of text classification because naive Bayes works better with text classification, and that too for binary text classification, and these are used for spam filters also in our emails. Now, see, suppose we have a text data. Okay, we have a text corpus. So the first thing that we will do is we will separate class 0 and class 1. For example, we separated, and this particular thing is y equals to 1 and this particular thing is y equals to 0. Now we will have various documents, that is d1, d2, d3, we can go till dn, and d1 we can go till dn. So these are the, suppose we have n points here and m points here. Okay, we have n points that belongs to class 1 and we have m points that belongs to class 0. Okay, now what we have to do is each document will have words. No, we can have w1, w2, so on. We can have various words here, various words here, various words here, various words here. Now in featureization video I have just shown you that we use, I will simply use bag of words here. That is very simple and easier to understand. And if you want detailed videos, I will make more videos on featureization techniques. But for now, we will only focus on bag of word. So in bag of word, what happens is for every document, we will have a vector of length, a vector of length, a capital N. This N has nothing to do with this N. This is just the length. So the each document will be represented by a vector of length n, and here n is equals to total number of unique word, total number of unique words in our vocab. It is in our vocabulary. What is vocabulary? All the unique words in this complete corpus. This is our n. Now, if that word is present in this particular document, then we will have a 1 at that particular index, and if it is not present, we will have 0. Simple. So, what is the index of that word? Every word will be assigned an index, and at that particular index, a value will be allotted. It can be 1 or it can be number of times that word has occurred in that particular document. For example, if suppose W2 has an index of 4, then at index 4, the number of times that W2 has occurred in this particular document. Suppose W2 has occurred here, W2 has occurred here, W2 occurred here, W2 occurred here. Now, this particular word has occurred 4 times in document 1. Therefore, at the 4th index, we will have a value of 4. Why? Because W2 has been assigned an index of 4. It can be assigned an index of 10 also. Then at the 10th index, we will give a value of 4. This is as simple as that. Now what we do is, this is featureization. Now this is simple featureization. I just wanted to mention. Now what we are doing in naive basis, since this x will be n dimensional, this x will be n dimensional, or this data point will be n dimensional. In our formulation, we have used this as x. Here I am using d1 just for the convention purpose. This is document, and when this will be converted into vectors, then we will use this is as x1. Okay. Now this is that. Now what we have to come up with is, this is xi. So this will have n values. So each value will be assigned as xi. That is x1. This is x2. This is x3, and so on. This is xn. We have talked this earlier also. Now what we have to find is, we have to find what is the probability of this particular x1 given y equals to 1. So for that, what we have to calculate is probability of y equals to 1. This is simple, but the most difficult part is, this is for I equals to 1 till capital N, and this will be probability of xi given y equals to 1. And what are xi's here? Xi's are x1, x2, x3 until xn. Now, what is x1? X1 is the number of times particular W1 has occurred here. X2 is the number of times W2 occurred. X3 is number of times W3 occurred, and so on for each data point. But we have to learn what was the pattern that X1 occurred in whole of the set. So how to calculate this is, the number of documents in which W1 has occurred. So what is probability of X1 given y equals to 1 is, number of documents, hash is for number. So number of documents where W1 was present divided by total number of documents in where, or documents where y equals to 1. Simple. So probability of x1 given y equals to 1 is, simply we will count in how many documents w1 was there when y1 was 1. So this is simply learning the pattern that in how many documents generally w1 occurs. Okay, so on, simply for every word we can see that. So we can simply calculate for everyone. So we can, for every word, that is xi equals when y equals to 1, and then we can simply use this particular formulation that we have above here. So what we will do is, we will do this for every data point. So we will do for all the n unique words. So in that fashion, we will get all the probabilities for y equals to 1. The same thing will be done for class 0. I think I don't need to explain that. The same thing will be done for this 0. Now, after the training is done, we will have probability of xi given y equals to 1 and probability of xi given y equals to 0. We will have. Now at runtime, now your question might be, this probability is same for everything, but yeah, this is fixed. Now this is fixed. Why? The probability of xi, that is x1, the probability of x2, the probability of x3 until the probability of xn is fixed. For which? For y equals to 1 it is fixed, and for y equals to 0 also it is fixed. But now, why the results will be different then? Suppose I give you a point x, why the result will be, suppose for a point x, the predicted y was 1, and for some other x, suppose this is some x1 and this is some x2, and for this y was 0. Why this happens? This happens because suppose at runtime you gave a sentence. Okay, you gave a sentence and you wanted to know what is the sentiment of that sentence. Then that X will not contain all the words. If at all this sentence contains all the n words, then we cannot decide, no? Then we cannot. Then suppose this is x1 and it contains all the n words. This is x2, it also contains all the n words. This is x3 and it also contains n words. Then for all these, why will we say? Because x1 given y equals to 1 and x2 given y equals to 1 all are same until xn given y equals to 1 are same. So for every x we will have the same value, hence the same label. But in reality, a data point cannot contain all the n words that we have in our corpus. That is not feasible, because in real world a corpus can contain millions. A corpus can contain millions of words, and a particular sentence or a particular paragraph even or a particular review containing millions of words is not feasible at all. Come on. So that is not feasible. That's why a particular x1 can contain some, suppose, a number of words, a, a, a completely different review. Suppose this is review 1 and we want to know the sentiment of this review, and there is some other review x2 and it can also contain, suppose, some b number of words. It is very unlikely that all the words here and here are same. That is very unlikely. Hence the value, that probability of x, what is the probability that y equals to 1 given this particular x will be different here, and the probability that y equals to 1 given this x2, this is x1 here, this is x2, will be completely different. And if this is greater than 0.5, we can say that this belongs to class 1, otherwise it belongs to class 0. If this is greater than, or this is not the absolute value, just let me make it clear, this is not the absolute value. We will calculate this y equals to 1 for x1, we will also calculate y equals to 0 for x1. The value that gives a greater value, we will select that class. And here also, this is y equals to 0 and this is x2. So the term that will have maximum value in these two, we will assign that particular class to x1, and in this particular case, the term which will have a greater value, we will assign that particular class to this particular label, sorry, this particular data point. So this is as simple as that. So now let us examine the time complexity that will take to train this. See, we have in total, suppose n data points. Some points may be belonging to class 1 and some points may belong to class 0. That is not the point of concern now. So we have n data points, and we have what we have in total d dimensions. In text classification, d dimensions means the number of unique words that we have in our corpus. So what we have to do is, for every word we have to calculate the probability. So this is for every word or for every dimension, and for every sentence we have to do, and this is our time complexity, because for every data point we have to do and for every dimension, so this will take this much time. And during runtime, what we have to do is, we just have to take this d, because we just have to find the d dimension that we have, and we just have to find for class 1 and just we have to find for class 2. So this is order of d, because we just have to do this, one swap, because the word that is present in our data point, suppose we have a data point x1 and it contains 10 words, so we just have to go and see the probability that this particular word is present when the class is this and this, and we have to find that, simple. So at runtime we just have to, this is order of d, or the number of words that we have in our data point, that is as simple as that. Now just let me recap it. What we have to calculate? We have to calculate probability of x given y equals to 1, and what is the probability that y equals to 1, these things, the probability that x and then this, and probability of y equals to 0. See, this is the probability of x given y 0, probability of x given y 1, and the probability of y equals to 1 and y equals to 0. You have to calculate only these things, and this is all about, I think, naive Bayes. This is all about naive Bayes. So this is the training part, and you have to only approximate this thing. Once you have this, you can have the whole naive Bayes algorithm. I hope I have made my points very clear till now. And if you have any doubt whatsoever, please do let me know in the comments below. If the doubt is very serious, then I will definitely make some video on that so that it will be clear for you. And for now, this is it. And if you really like the videos that I make, then please do let me know in the comments, and also consider subscribing to my channel. And that's all. Thank you for watching my video, and I will see you in my next videos.